All right, good Sunday morning, everyone. Oh, Svi just jumped into the room. I am going to wait a couple minutes because there's always some kind of commercial or something that people are going to have to go through before they get into the channel. We have some giant news. We have some online breaking news. Well, I should say we have some online. Oh, wait, we got something coming up here on the other side of the computer. Hold on one second. Well, I should say we have some online. Oh, wait, get that feedback out of there. I had some feedback in there. You know what? It would not be a day without typical news. Big news coming in. So I'm gonna wait a couple minutes here so everyone can jump in. Wait, we have a chat here. Hold on, let me jump onto this chat here. Oh, giant news, everything else. Not sure if I can hear you. I can hear you, Dom. I just don't have your mic on yet. We have a surprise guest coming in as well in a few minutes. But I'm going to wait for a few more seconds because I know everyone wants to hear the breaking giant news and the breaking online big blue news and everything else. So we're going to wait here. We're going to, I could just hum until everyone's online. Da, 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 da. Or I could just play some sound effects because I know everyone likes the sound effects. The other day I got an email or a message. Someone said to me, you need to stop with the king of the almost sack. You need to stop that. And I said, no, I'm not going to stop the king of the almost sack. And I think it was Mike Lee who came out and said to me, you should just do an entire show of King of the Almost Sack. What's up? Big news. Yes, there is giant news and there is channel news. So there is a giant rumor, and I'm going to jump on Svi. No, Svi, it is not the Giants. It's not Galladay to the Giants. No, it's not. It's not, but it's an interesting rumor. It's a Florida connection rumor. So, my Florida connections have been something. The Florida connections have been about 85, 90% right. So I don't take this rumor with a grain of salt. I take it with more of a accuracy. I'm going to drink some water here. We're going to jump into the intro real quick. Hello, everyone. This is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. What's going on, everybody here? Hope everyone's having a good day. Everyone's having fun. It is Sunday. It is early Sunday. I should say very early Sunday. We're trading for Tom Brady. That would be big news. That would be the biggest news. All right. What do we want to hear first? Do we want to hear the giant news or online big blue news? Which one do we want to hear first? Whoever pops up the first comment, that's what we'll go with first. So we're going to see what to say here. Yo, what's going on, Anthony? How you doing? So who wants to hear it first? Which one? Someone's got to pick it. Someone just got to type it. Flip a coin. Online big blue news. All right. That was the first one that came in. All right. Online big blue news. This is my last year, guys. This looks like I'm going to just do this till the end of the season, and I may retire. This has always been this has been fun. This has been great. This has been enjoyable, but there's just there's a lot of minutia that go behind the scenes minutia that goes into this channel. And I'm gonna do the whole season. I'm gonna go from start to finish, but this looks like it's probably gonna be the last year for Online Big Blue. So and it has nothing to do with subscribers, it has nothing to do with the Giants. There's just a lot of stuff. Put it the nice way. There's a lot of stuff that goes on to doing this channel, and there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and it gets tiring. So I'm not going to totally disappear. Boo! Are you booing because I'm leaving, or are you booing because I'm not going to totally disappear? I'm not going to totally disappear. Like I said, I am going to do the full Giant season. I'm going to do it from start to finish. I'm going to continue to do a video a day. And then what I may do towards the end of the season is I might find a way or figure out a way to turn my channel over to somebody. Maybe we'll have a contest. Maybe we'll do something where someone can continue on the legacy of Online Big Blue. And it's not, it's not that it takes up a lot of time. There's just a lot of crap that just goes into this. And it's behind the scenes crap with YouTube and other YouTubers and everything else. It's just, you know what? I'm old. I'm 52 years old. I don't put up with crap, and that's my problem. that's my issue. So, and a lot of times I bite my tongue and I don't say things that I should say, but you know what? I'm not going to keep getting into it, but you know what? I'm not the kind of guy, and anyone that knows me and anyone's talked to me offline knows that I'm not the kind of guy that keeps quiet. So, and I just don't want to, you know, it's just, hey, it's just one of those things. I'll help you out, Big Tim. Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking about potentially doing a contest starting at the beginning of the season to see who's going to take over for the channel, because I don't want the channel to end. We got over 6,000 subscribers. I want to keep this on. I want to keep going, but you know, like I said, I'm old. I'm old, man. I want to enjoy the bike. You know, I want to enjoy the sunshine and everything else, and I don't want to put up with the haters and everything else. So I mean, it's just. But we'll see. But we're gonna, you know, I'm gonna drop in. We have a guest today, and I want to drop him in because he's come from us from afar, and he is a great subscriber. Not like everyone else on the line right here. I have some great subscribers. I'm going to drop them in because, you know what? I want a perspective from overseas. And I'm going to give the giant news why we have this gentleman in. I think some people are going to know who he is. It's Dom. Can you hear me?
Hi, Tim. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, very good. Very good. Sorry to hear the news that you're looking to give up in the next year, but we'll have a good last 9-12 months with you and see where we go.
Exactly. So where exactly are you calling in from?
So I'm from the UK. I live near Brighton. I mean, if I said where I live, like no one in the UK knows where it is, but I'm near Brighton.
Okay.
People hopefully know where that is.
Okay. Well, you know, it's funny things I do because I spent a lot of time over in the UK. I spent a lot of time in Ireland. Spent a lot of time in London. So I'm actually very familiar with the area. You have always left me. You know, it's interesting because of the fact that a lot of times you can't come on to the streams because, you know, the time difference. And I really like your perspective because you left me some great messages and you left me some great emails as well. So I definitely wanted to bring you on and, you know, give the UK perspective of the Giants, because I think it's interesting to see what other people think really outside of the tri-state area. And I think you're about as outside as we can get. So, I mean, I think your perspective is a little bit different from where you're sitting right now. But what I want to do is I want to give you some news that I heard yesterday from a source. I want to get your feedback on it as well. Dalvin Tomlinson. I was talking to a gentleman and he lives in the Florida area. He's given me information before, and he is mentioning right now that during the legal tampering period, which is going to be on the 17th, that Dalvin Tomlinson there's going to be a huge push for him from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they are saying that they have a large amount of cap space, and they are basically going to have a outstanding offer to him. I don't know if that means he's going to take it. I don't mean any, you know, I don't think he's going to be with the Giants, but what do you think about, you know, Dalvin potentially going over to the Jaguars and of course leaving the New York Giants?
I mean, Tim, I think it's inevitable, right? I mean, I don't see with the cap situation, you can have Williams and Tomlinson back. I just don't see how that would fit, even if Tomlinson took the home team discount, home state discount. Yeah, maybe he would, but even so, you're still looking at what, 10-12 million?
Oh, minimum, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see that, right? And these players have short careers. You can't blame them for going to chase the money. Do I think Tomlinson can land at a better spot than Jacksonville? Yeah, but there's not many teams with the cap space, you know, and there's a lot of money for a defensive tackle, even a good one like Tomlinson. But you know, he's a nose tackle, and there are others out there that can do that. So. Look, I don't think he's going to be back, and all I can do is wish him the best, because he's been a really good player for us, and it's a shame he can't come back, right? You know, if the caps wasn't going down this year, maybe you can get him, Williams, back, but yeah, I think it's inevitable. Would I rather have had him back over Williams? I think you can get more nose tackles out there, right? But I just wouldn't have done Williams. I think with the cap as it is, he's too big a hit against the cap. It's nothing against him personally, but that's a heck of a lot of money. So, yeah, I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with Williams. It's a lot of cash, and I'm sorry, the legal tampering period starts tomorrow. That is correct, Johnny T. I didn't misspeak on that. Oh my God, I should give up my channel now because I misspoke on that. But I did misspeak on that. Nate Solder, Vinny G. We're going to take some questions too, because I'm going to go on a Nate Solder rant. So I mean, because some people,
you can't handle the truth.
Because there is just some crap with Nate Solder. Nate Solder was garbage for 2 years. He opted out because of his child, which I understand 100%. 100% I understand that. And then he's coming back. And you read the tabloids, you read the social media. It sounds like from their perspective that we just brought back Jonathan Ogden. That we just brought back this player that no one, everybody loved. And it's like, and he's going to man the right tackle position, or he's going to be a swing tackle. Okay, here's my problem, Dom. Here's my problem. And maybe you can help me with this problem, because this is a problem. You have Kevin Zeidler, who has been your most consistent lineman for 2 years, who you cut to save $12 million, whose contract you could have restructured. But instead, you took who could arguably be your worst offensive lineman for the last 2 seasons and missed last year, and you basically rewarded him by extending his contract. You're going to have to give him more guaranteed money for him to do the renegotiation. And then everyone all of a sudden is in love with with Nate Solder. We overpaid for him in free agency. He is one of the reasons why we're in the salary cap issue that we're in right now. What do you think? What is your perspective of keeping Nate and just dumping Kevin?
I think the unknown here is, right, would Kevin Zeitler have wanted to restructure his contract? That's the unknown, right? So I don't think you're going to trade him with 12 million against the cap, right, in this market. So did he want to restructure? If he didn't want to restructure, you kind of got a problem, right? So I think that's the first thing, but I certainly would have preferred to have restructured Zeitler, who's been the most consistent offensive lineman for us for 2-3 years now. 2 years, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, either or. And Nate, yeah, you're absolutely right. He's not been a great addition to us. I get why we went after him. He was the best available tackle at the time, and boy, did we need one. But he's not worked out. I think, given a choice, yeah, I would just cut Nate over Kevin Zeitler. But I think if you're in this world where you're potentially losing 2 experienced offensive linemen, you have to be damn sure you're going to get an experienced offensive lineman coming in through free agency. But I think there are tackles out there. There's someone like a Darrell Williams on the market. There are swing tackles you could get for a year and look to improve it next year. But for me, I think if I want to protect Daniel Jones this year and I want to see what he can do, you can talk about the offensive weapons, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But best ways are hope Saquon's fit and healthy. Yep. I think that makes a difference. But secondly, you've got to keep him on his feet, right? His biggest issue, apart from it's connected to the fumbling, is he doesn't read the game quick enough and doesn't throw it quick enough. And that line needs to give him every split second it can to help him stay on his feet. So yeah, for me, I would have gone with Nate off and kept Kevin Zeitler, but you don't know who's going to be willing to do what, and you don't know who out the tackles is likely to come. Like the chap out of forget his name now, from the Steelers, I think he is.
Villanueva?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, him. Again, I think that would be an interesting one, but you've got to be sure that you can get one of them.
Right. I like Villanueva because I say his name so well. Alejandro Villanueva. That's why I like him. I like the Spanish flair with him.
At least one of
Slater at 11. Here's a good one from Willie Bum Bum. Slater if Slater is available in the draft at 11. I'm not high on Slater. I know he's climbing up the charts. But what would you think if you had a wide receiver? Let's say Waddle and Slater are both sitting. Let's say the corners are gone, the linebacker's gone. You got Waddle and Slater sitting at 11. Who are you? Who are, from the UK perspective? Who are you going to go with?
I mean, for me, I'd like to take the corner, but that's not one of the options you gave me. So
no, I'm a Patrick Surtain guy.
Yeah,
I want Surtain.
I think someone ahead of Bradbury. For me, we're not gonna win this year, so I think you build in the trenches.
Oh,
get that defense sorted.
Wait! You can't say we're not gonna win this year. No. You have to be no. You have to be rah this year. Go Giants! We're gonna win no matter what. This is the season. We're going to the playoffs.
I'm British.
That's what I hear.
We don't do optimism.
You can't say we're not going to win.
Have you not seen the British sports teams? We suck.
It's funny. I don't even get my news anymore from the States. I get it from the UK. I get it from Australia because of the fact that if you want an honest perspective in some regards, you sometimes have to go overseas. You really do. It's funny just to hear what's actually going on in your own country.
But I think you're right. But I mean, if you're given a choice between the two you gave me, it's Waddle all day long. We have to see what we've got in Jones this year. Like I said earlier, I think one of the best ways is a stand-up defense, take the pressure off him, and a line that can protect him is, for me, they're the two. But, Waddle is at least a target he can go and hit and throw at, and see what he's got. But as I say, I prefer the line. Daniel Jones' big strength. He can throw into tight spaces, generally speaking. That's his strength, so the longer you can give him, you don't necessarily need the receivers to get as much separation as other quarterbacks do. Obviously, it's nice, and a number one, number one wide receiver is ideal. But, given the choice you gave me, Waddle, definitely.
Well, and Vinny G, this is a good one because, it is a fantasy world to think we're going to get Galladay. Galladay is 27 years old. This is his payday. This is where he's going to make the contract that is going to take care of his kids and his grandkids for the rest of their lives. And I laughed, though, because I got some emails yesterday, and I got an email from Mike Lee, and I got one from Vinny G that I want to talk about. But I got an email yesterday that asked me why the Giants are in this cap predicament. Because of the fact that their franchise left tackle, their franchise quarterback, and their franchise running back are all on, their rookie contracts. How are we, only right now, I think like $2.5–3 million over the cap. And I tried to explain to them. I said, and everyone wants to do this. Everyone wants to backload their contract. Everyone wants to give them prorated bonuses. But the prorated bonuses, or the P5s, are what got us into this predicament right now. That's what got us into this issue. You keep backloading the signing bonuses and the workout bonuses. They count against the cap, which is what Gettleman has been doing, which he did with Bradbury and Martinez, which is causing the issue. Now, Dom, I'm going to ask you a question. You're the GM. You're running the Giants. If you had one or two players that you feel like you need to get rid of, that you got to cut to get under the cap, but it's going to hurt to do it, who would you cut, or who would you feel the Giants should cut? Because we're going to need right now. We got $2 million restructuring. Even with the restructuring Nate's deal, maybe we'll get $6 million out of it. I mean, so what? We're $8 million. You got the contract hanging over Leonard Williams. Even if he takes $16 million, that only adds maybe another $3 million. So maybe you have 11. Who else are we cutting? Who are we getting? We know we're not getting rid of the 16-foot, 485-pound tight end because we already restructured his deal. But who are you getting rid of?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think, like I say, I think this year you just want to build, because I think next year, I think we're going in the right direction, right? So for me, it's about next year and protecting that cap. You do not want to be the Eagles this year, right? And what they've done over the last however many years. And I'm not digging Eagles. I mean, there will be other teams out there, right? Oh, I am digging Eagles, aren't I? But
you can bash Eagles. It's okay.
Yeah,
but, Eagles suck. The only thing good about Philadelphia is cats and Geno's and get some cheesesteaks. But that's it. Everything else in Philadelphia sucks. Now, I'm just kidding if you live in Philadelphia. I live 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia, so. And I used to go to a lot of Sixers games before they locked everything down. So, but Philly's got a smell to it as well. So I think that's the cheesecake smell. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's right. You may have noticed from the hair, we're still locked down.
But I was gonna say your hair looks good though. I think this should be the hair channel, man. I didn't get a chance to do mine like I like to, but you got the look going on. I like it. But who are we cutting? Who are we cutting?
I mean, I said earlier, probably Nate Solder. There's got to be one. I've got a cup of tea arriving as well. Look at this. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Oh, service.
I got a bottle of water.
It's afternoon tea in the UK.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, probably Nate. And
but you can't cut Nate because Nate has already been restructured.
Well, has he? I mean, the rumors are. Has it been done now?
It's pretty much, from what I'm hearing, it's pretty much agreed on.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been the ideal one. I wonder whether Evan Ingram would be one. I think he's got the ability to be a player. I think it's one of those ones, I see it all the time in other sports, where they're at your club and you think, why can't this player just play for us? And they go somewhere else and they just catch a light, and vice versa sometimes. So I think Ingram would probably be one, but that would be what, $6 million, maybe?
Yeah, almost $7 million.
Yeah, and you're going to have to spend that on getting another tight end. Ideally, I was to say Williams would have been one way to save some cap. it's got to be one of those top 5 players we're playing. And I think Bradbury and Martinez, you've got to keep. I think they were sensational. Maybe you're looking in that sort of safety zone. I thought Logan Ryan, for instance, was great last year, but we've got him, we've got Peppers, we've got McKinney coming back. Didn't see him averagely last year. We're overloaded there a little bit. I think it's tough, but you've got 5 players at the top end.
Well, that's our problem.
20 odds,
we're top
30.
heavy on 5 contracts, and 3 of those players are on defense.
And it's got to be in that area you're looking to get rid of. But that's why I'd let Williams walk, because he hits too much of the cap. But I couldn't give you 2 players off the top of my head, because the players that you'd want to get rid of are going to be low end. You're not going to get a great saving out of them, and I like I say, I wouldn't want to lose Bradbury or Blake Martinez at this point. And actually, I think you want the player in alongside them to support, which is why, as I said earlier, I like the cap, the corner in, going in alongside Bradbury, because I just think it allows that defense to rush up a little bit more and sort of really fits the scheme. So I don't know. I mean, interested to know who you would cut if you had to cut 2 right now. But
if I had to cut 2 right now, and that's not going to be popular, because people are going to be like, you could trade him for a 1st-round draft choice. I would get rid of Evan Ingram, only because of the fact that you are going to save $7 million without any cap damage to the cap, and also because of the fact that everyone wants Kyle Pitts. And also, I wouldn't bring back Leonard Williams, and I would probably get rid of what's his name, Dixon, the punter. Only because of the fact that he's overpaid for what he produced.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that I would cut. I mean, the only thing is, it's just, we don't, even if you cut, and that's what I think some people don't understand. You cut guys, but the problem is you have to refill those spots in the roster.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. There's no point in cutting someone on 1 million, right? Because you're going to spend 1 million, bring them back in. You might as well keep the same guy you've got, unless you think you're going to get a player that's much better than what you're cutting for the same price, which in this market may be. Maybe if you hold your nerve like we did last year with Logan Ryan, came in June or something, really late, you might get value there, but the risk is there isn't the value there. There aren't those players available.
I had 2 good questions here, and I want to bring this up. What are your thoughts on AJ Green or TY in the free agency and draft the wide receivers? I like TY Hilton a lot. I love TY Hilton. I like TY Hilton because of when I used to play fantasy football, I used to always pick him, and he would always rack up my points. I stopped playing fantasy football a couple years ago, but I liked him because of that. But I have a problem bringing in wide receivers who are advanced in age, and I laugh because when you talk about a guy who's 32 years old to 31 years old, I didn't know that was advanced age, because then I'm freaking prehistoric then, because of the fact that but you have AJ's coming off injuries. TY has been consistent, but he's been consistent in the dome, and that's and I have a problem bringing in dome guys. That's why I'm not a big Julio Jones fan. I mean, I'm a Julio Jones fan as a player, but not for the Giants. What do you think about? What are your thoughts about AJ Green coming? If we could possibly get him for the Giants?
Look, either of those 2 are great receivers, right? But I think for me, with where the cap's at, it's a pipe dream, right? We haven't got it. If you're bringing in a wide receiver, you're either bringing a 2nd, 3rd tier wide receiver, or you've got to go through the draft. Right? You asked me earlier, or Waddle, or I forget the other guy's name off the top of my head now. It had to be Waddle, right? Because that you can see the benefit. But yeah. Look, I'd love to have those players, right? I'd love to have Yannick Ngakoue. I'd love to have, Van Noy that was released by the Dolphins. but you have to be honest with what you've got, right?
I think that's the thing. I had a great question about Bud Dupree here a minute ago, and I'm trying to scroll back. Kenny or Bud? And my thing is with Bud Dupree or Kenny Galladay. To your point, you have to have realism, and I talk about this all the time. Kenny is going to get his money, and Bud, yes, he's coming off the injury, but ACL tears are not what they used to be. I mean, you would come back in 8-9 months and still be effective. So he is young enough that he is going to get paid. He's going to get a contract. And some people are like, well, sign him to a 1-year deal. No, he's going to get at least 3 years. If you had the opportunity to sign Bud Dupree, would you want to bring him on board the Giants if you knew what he was going to do to your limited amount of salary cap? Because he's probably still going to need 12 to 14 million.
I mean, if you can make it work, sure. I think, you've got the risk of the ACL, but, a lot of players come back from it these days, not what it was, 10, 15, 5 years ago even. These are fantastic players, but again, I just don't think it's going to be there in my view. And what I don't want to do this year, like I say, I think we're going in the right direction. We've got the space next year. I don't want to ruin that for next year, because I think we can genuinely go far next year. I think Judge has got us going in. Protect it this year. Try and build. Go for those short 1-year deals. If they work, re-sign them like we did with Logan Ryan. If they don't work, fine. You can leave them on whichever highway you want to leave them on, Tim. Because I know you're a big fan of leaving players like Yidam on any freeway anywhere in the country.
Well, no, I like to leave Isaac Yidam. It's called 95 South. It connects Philadelphia from New York, and 95 South or North. So I always say just leave him on the highway. I'll pick him up. If they want to leave him halfway between, the Lincoln Financial Field and my house, I'll come get him, drive him to New York. It's all right. I mean, I don't mind that. Thoughts on Nelson Aguilar? You know what? I did a video on Nelson Aguilar, the former Philadelphia Eagle. I like him. I like him as a player. I thought he was misused by Doug Peterson in Philadelphia. I think John Gruden, and I do have an affinity for John Gruden, because I know I've met the coach multiple times. He yelled at me multiple times. So but I think Gruden used him right, and Carr used him right in Vegas. He only came in at $1 million something salary. I think he's going to command a little bit more money than that $1 million, but I think he is an option, Zachary, that we can bring in, and he can be a consistent option, and he can be the deep ball threat that could help open the field, allow Sterling Shepard to play more into the slot, and then also help Darius Slayton as well. If you had the choice, Dominic, and if you had the opportunity to bring in Nelson, even though he's going to have the Philadelphia cheese stank on him, would you bring him in?
Yeah. Look, I think you're right. You get him for definitely under the $5 million mark. I'd be amazed if he went for over that, and I think he'd be nearer the 1 than the 5. I think he's a top-rate second tier quarterback. He's used to the division. He's used to playing in the cold, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I would, as I said earlier, I would be looking to try and bolster that line and bolster that defense, which could become. I mean, I thought it was good last year, but it could go to, real legit, sort of Washington, Steelers kind of levels if we start to get it right. And that's the way I would look to build it right. Defense wins championships, so you go through those ones, and you bring in Nelson, because I can't pronounce his surname either. I think you're doing it on purpose now, by the way. But look, he's a cheap option. He'll cost less than what than Golden Tate, so you get a little bit of money in there. I think he's better than Tate. He's a pro. I'd be absolutely fine with that. I'm not bothered. In fact, you could argue he'd see some sense leaving Philadelphia and coming, admittedly, via Las Vegas to the Giants, right?
Yep. We're gonna say hi to Mr. Lewis, who just popped in. Listen, if you are out there and you're anywhere and you need to buy a car, this dude is going to drive a car to your house. He's going to find you a car. He's going to do everything he needs to do to help you guys out. It's RPM. Mr. Lewis, while you're on there, why don't you just put out your information for social media? Go out there. I was going to get a car from him, but my wife, love her. She wanted her car right away. And well, right away, we had been looking for months. So, but you know what? If you guys need a vehicle, you need a guy that's going to work with you and is going to help you and is going to bring the car to your house. I mean, yeah, you got Carvana and all that crap, but you want to do something, and you want to work with someone that's got the online Big Blue Seal approval. And Mr. Lewis, and we call him Mr. Lewis on this channel. You have the online Big Blue Seal approval. So go buy a car from him right now. I don't care if you don't need a car. Just go buy one. And I got to say hello to Jersey Mike. Hey, Jersey Life. What's going on, my friend? You know what? I get my news from Skynet. Hope everything's going good at work. I'm still waiting for my package of secret sauce, but I'm not going to say anything right here. Oh, here's a good question right here. Oh, we got what's John Doe. Yep. Cost effective. Yep. We're going to get into that in a second. I want to see this with Vinny G real quick here. Everyone's saying that Samuel is another Shepard. Who cares? Shepard is a concussion away from retirement. Samuel's a good fit. Here's the problem with that, Vinny G, and I'm going to tell you this right now. You are going to be paying for the same guy, and that's the problem. You look at their size, you look at their stats, you look at what they offer on the field statistically. They are the same player. You are potentially, yes, signing a Sterling Shepard 2.0 who is healthy. or potentially healthy. But we need a number one. We don't need a number two or a number three. We need a guy that's going to come in here and be consistent. And you are still going to have to give Samuel some money. Dom, you're the Giants GM again. Samuel is clamoring to come to New York. I want to come to New York. I want to come to New York, but I need $11 million. Are you signing Curtis Samuel?
I mean, the thing with the wide receivers is, right, there's a lot of comments in the chat I agree with. We do need a number one wide receiver, but we need a lot of things. So for me, we're with Curtis Samuel, fine. If Shepard goes, then yeah. But I think for me, if I've got wide receivers, I want a variety. I want that stand-up, big, tall guy you can throw out. I want that one that can get the separation. I want the one that can run those sort of short, tight routes. And I think you're absolutely right that Shepard and Samuel too similar for me. So if you're keeping Shepard, yeah, you run the risk of the injuries, but you don't bring in Samuel for all the time Shepard's here. No, I wouldn't do it. And someone made the point earlier when I was saying about why would I bring in Nelson? Absolutely, he's not the number one guy we need, but I think we can't fill every hole this year, and I think we'll get a receiver in the draft next year, or if you don't get it this year. So no, I wouldn't bring him in.
Good question right here. Oh, and Mr. Lewis, I just put up your information. Everyone, I'll put that Mr. Lewis's information again. I'm also going to post it later in the link. What do we got here? Whoops, this is a good one right here. DJ doesn't show progression. What are the Giants' plan? Well, the Giants are probably going to cry. That's what I think they're going to do if he doesn't show progression. And I've said this with DJ. I've said this before. I am not a DJ. Oh, hold on. I have new sound effects, but I didn't think it was the day to bring out the new sound effects after announcing my potential retirement. But you know what? DJ, if he doesn't progress, I don't know what the Giants are going to do. They're going to be put back at least 2-3 years in my perspective, unless they're going to go out and get a veteran quarterback. So you know what? Everyone's like, you hate him. You hate him. I don't hate him. I want him to succeed, but I just want to be honest. And that's the problem. I want to say, okay, I'm honest that he potentially could turn into something, but it doesn't mean he's going to, and we have to be prepared for that issue. If you are the Giants again, I mean, what happens? Let's say DJ throws up a clunker. He throws for 3,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, 22 interceptions, 14 and a half fumble. You can't have half a fumble. Maybe half the ball fell apart, but 14 fumbles. What do you do then in the following season? I mean, the quarterback class right now, we really haven't even got any pulse on for the year after this year. But what do you do? I mean, what do you do from a Giants perspective? We have no backup plan.
I mean, it's the end for Gettleman, right? I mean, that's the first thing. I think in that scenario, I think Daniel Jones is done. I think it is a big year for him. He has to show what he can and can't do. I don't think he has to have an Allen at the Bills sort of season, or even Baker Mayfield at the Browns. I think he just has to show progression, because I don't think we're going to be able to get everything we need around him to see 100% what we've got. But he has to show something this year, because otherwise, you're right. I think you have to go. You almost have to tear it up and start again.
You got to start with me. And who wants that?
Nobody. No, right. I mean, I'm talking about, I think we are going in the right direction. I'm excited for the season ahead. But 2022 really genuinely excites me. But for that to happen, we need to protect the cap this year, and Daniel Jones needs to move forward. And that second one is the one we don't necessarily have the control over. That's the one that would concern me more right now, because I don't know where, some weeks I look at Jones and think, yeah, great, I can see it. And then the following week I think, Christ, did they put me at quarterback? I'm 5'1", I can't see anything, I mean, I'm being unfair there, but he is inconsistent, and we need to see what he's got this year. And, that's the conundrum we've got this year, is how do we see it? Because we don't have everything we need to be able to see him. Because if he fails this year, that's it. Yeah, if he fails, I want him to fail spectacularly, and we got the number 1, number 2 pick, right? So we can go and draft a quarterback. But we don't know what you got. You look at Lawrence this year. I mean, he looks as good a sure thing as you can get coming out of college, but that doesn't mean he will be. Anything can happen when they get to the pros. So, you just got to hope he has a big season and comes good. But.
And comes through from there. Hey, Joseph, I'm going to say hi to Joseph. What's going on, Joseph? Another huge supporter. That was a great question right here by Terry. Willie Jackson, Hayward, or Desmond King. I'm going to tell you right now, my pick's going to be Desmond King. Why? Because I did a whole video on Desmond King. I think he would be the best option if we're going to go for the corner position in free agency. Again, we just don't have the money. I mean, I wish we did. I mean, I would love to be the king of. Wait a minute, I'd love to be the
King of the almost sack.
Or I should rephrase that. I'd rather be the king of not reality. I'd rather just be like, yeah, let's go out and get him. We just don't have the money. I mean, I can't see paying Isaac Yiadom the $2.5 million off the accelerator either. But again, you only have so much cap space. And speaking of my buddy Isaac Yiadom, you have Isaac Yiadom, Mr. I call him and a lot of old Giant fans knows I call him the new version of Toast. Because he always gets burnt. He's Elvis Patterson. He gets burnt in the big situation. From your perspective, can you see Isaac Yiadom being that CB2 alongside James Bradbury for a full season? I don't even need to. We don't even need that. All right, we're going to move on from that question. Oh, I like this.
No, he's not. No. He's look, if he's your, 27th choice cornerback, sure. I think it's a bit.
I figured it had to be overseas that someone loved Isaac Yiadom because I think someone had to. So I figured it couldn't have been in this country.
I'm guessing his mother. I'm guessing his mother loves him.
No, I know. I did a video on Pat Shermer. Well, actually, no, I did a video on Pat Shermer, and I called it a head coach only his mother could love. So maybe it is his mom. Maybe his mom's sending. Maybe his mom and Eli Apple's mom have gotten together and are kind of coercing the Giants into keeping him because I don't.
Either that or they're the two supporters with back row with the brown paper bags and the eye holes, and they're just like, my son play, but don't want anyone to recognize me.
we haven't seen that yet, but you know what? Oh, here we go, Robert. What's going on, Robert? Y'all make me laugh. Y'all blame Jones, who has an inexperienced O-line. No Saquon Barkley. Receivers who drop too many passes, and the Giants are on the cusp of the playoffs. Here's the problem with that, my friend. And you and I, Robert, you and I always go at back and forth with Daniel Jones, and I understand that. Did you talk, Robert? I think it was you who told me stop playing the crickets. But here's the problem. You can't say all that and then blame Jason Garrett, because all the things that Daniel Jones is facing, all those issues are the same issues the offense coordinator are facing as well. And Jason Garrett has one more issue involved, and that's Daniel Jones. And people are like, well, they didn't unleash Daniel Jones. They didn't let him go deep last year towards the end of the season. No, I think it was a conscious effort via the coaching staff to limit the turnovers from Daniel Jones by not allowing him at times to go deep with the ball. And I think that's, you were trying, and to your point, you were trying to win games to get into the playoffs.
Can I come in there? I think, look, there are some things that were not Daniel Jones's fault last year, right? I mean, Ingram, for one example, dropped so many. And he wasn't the only one, right?
No,
and
exactly.
Towards the end, Jones, look, he was playing with an injury. I'm not sure he had the capability to throw it long on that leg. I mean, I don't know. I'm no medical professional.
Well, toward like in the Arizona game, he should never have played.
No.
In the Baltimore game, he seemed fine. In the last couple of games of the season, he seemed fine. I think injuries a lot of times are used as an excuse for players. Especially players that have an inconsistency in their ability or in their careers. It's always, well, they had an injury.
Yeah, right.
It's like Andrew Thomas. Everyone was bashing Andrew Thomas until you found out he was playing on an injury. And everyone was, that's the problem. That was the injury. That was the problem.
No, for me, Thomas is coming into one of the trickiest positions to make the step up from. He was always going to have some issues. And he was coming into a weakened team compared to others, right? But for me, Jones, you can say all those things, right? And the reason I don't have an opinion fully on Jones yet, and we need to see it this year, is because there are bits that are beyond his control, but there are bits where he's just got to improve. That's reality. And for me, there were areas he improved last year. He fumbled far less, and I think that's partly because our line was better. He tried to go through his progressions a little bit more, and he stopped trying to take shots that were risky shots, right? And that's all positive. I'm really pleased without that, but you also have to look at his numbers last year and go, yeah, it wasn't a progression, and that's why you don't know what you've got. You know, so for me, I don't hate Jones and I don't love Jones. I want Jones to succeed, right? Because as you said earlier, you're back 2-3 years if
Right.
if he fails.
If he and that's my point with that, and that's why I laugh when people are like, well, you don't like him, you want him to fail. No, I don't want him to fail. If he fails, it screws the team. But I also need to be realistic in the option of the fact that, you know, he may not be the guy. You know, we went through, you know, Kent Graham, Dave Brown, Danny Cannell. You know, we went through all these players before we found Kerry Collins. So, I mean, it's not, we went through the Scott Bruners and the Jeff Rutledges before we found Phil Simms. You know, we went through the plethora of players, but, you know, so you don't always hit on your franchise quarterback. And that's just the fact. That's just the facts of life.
Yeah, right. You're exactly right. No one wants Jones to fail. Well, apart from Philadelphia Eagles fans, right? But
Cowboy fans.
But yeah, you know, that's it. But you know, I'll say we are making progress, and if Jones can really kick on this year, then great, brilliant. Let's do it, and let's try and support him. But let's support him in a way that supports the team in general, and doesn't just go just to make sure it works for Jones. Because if he doesn't work, then that's a bigger issue. Let's make sure we have the line and the defense that gives either Jones the season after or whoever comes in to replace him if he fails a chance to go and drive us forward.
Yep. I agree. I agree 100%.
You know,
well, Dom,
he's also a professional, right? And I really like him, what he says off the field and how he carries himself. And I think that's another plus side for him. And that's another reason why you wouldn't want someone to fail, because he's not sort of a jackass.
Well, that's the thing. Well, like I said, you don't want, especially if he's on your team, you don't want anyone to fail. I mean, I don't want Leonard Williams to fail.
No.
But I have a feeling you give him $19.5, $20 million, he's going to revert back to
King of the almost sack.
He's gonna get his 3.5, 5.5 sacks again, and his 6,498 pressures. And we've talked about before, my friends, needs to be pressure equals results. That's what NFL teams look at. They don't look at how many pressures you have. They are more concerned with actually hits on the quarterback. But it needs to be, and I've seen this in meeting rooms, it's pressures equal results. If you pressure a guy, there are quarterbacks out there, you pressure them, they are just going to rip you apart. So, I mean, that's what we need to focus on. But Dom, I'm gonna let you go here because of the fact I'm going to jump into a lot of these questions. I really do appreciate you jumping on for the last 40 minutes and giving us your perspective. I'm glad we finally got to kind of connect in person. Like I said, I've always enjoyed and loved your comments, and I always find it's an interesting perspective because, you know, me personally, when I think, of course, the UK, I think of football as soccer. So when I hear, it's very interesting because I got a lot of fans that listen to the podcast over in Europe and in London, and it's I think it's Islington is one place. I can't remember the names of it, but there's a bunch of people, and it's actually real. I get flattered by it because then I also got people that are over like in Germany, like at Ramstein Air Base that listen. So I mean, it's always great to get a perspective from overseas. It's a great thing. Like I said, you have been, you know, I have so many great subscribers, and you have been one of them. You have kept me in check on times on certain things, and you've given me your opinion, and I appreciate it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the last minute or so here to to say whatever you want to say, talk about what you ever want to talk about, and just let's get the last Dom perspective.
No, I mean we covered most of it. I just want to say thanks for having me on. It's been great to be on. So thank you, and yeah, look, it's always good talking Giants, and you know what I like about you is right or wrong, you give your view. So thank you for that. But
wait. Now I'm going to cut you off. I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's been
what the hell that? No, I'm wrong, and I was laughing. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Yes, I'm wrong at times. I admit that freely. But I really do appreciate that.
If we were right all the time, then I'd certainly have a better job.
Yeah, me too. That's always like what people say with gambling. They're like, "Oh, I never win when I gamble." I said, "Well, it's called gambling for a reason. It's not called have them just give you the money. It's called gambling." But yeah, I really do. And like I said, I really do appreciate you coming on. I really do spend the last hour with us. I know it's a little bit later your time than it is here because it's almost noon here. But again, like I said, I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. And
thank you.
Just keep leaving those fantastic comments, my friend.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. And look, appreciate everyone's comments in the chat as well. I know a lot of people disagree with me, and that's absolutely grand. It's why we love sports. So
you know what? That's why we do this, and that's why we do it. But again, have yourself a good evening, and
also one last thing. Sorry,
Sure.
I've just seen someone. I'm a big fan of Gregory Rousseau, but not 11. I think we have other needs, and I think you don't take him at 11, Leon Adam. But I think you're right. He's a decent player, especially at that physicality. But for me, I go elsewhere. But I think it's a good shout.
Yeah, I mean that's his. It's. I think this draft is going to be interesting, and I'm going to keep you on for another second because I keep this draft. All right, I'm going to ask you one last question because I am curious. If I'm not going to say what players are off the board. If you are at 11 and you're the Giants, and who is your favorite guy for the Giants to take and why?
Well, at 11.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then I probably take Satan. If I think all three wide receivers are still there at 11, I look to try and trade back a couple if I can, if there's someone there. If you trade down to 18, then maybe you start to look into the likes of Rousseau or one of those receivers if they're going to drop. But I think the receivers will probably have gone. There'll be a receiver, if not two, at 11. But for me, I'd go Satan if he's there and take that cornerback so we can leave Yidam somewhere in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. But that's who I would take. I take the corner.
Perfect. Again, my friend, I appreciate you coming on, and hope that you enjoy your rest of your evening.
Cheers, thanks, thanks all.
All right, that was Dom from the UK, and I wanted to just get into some of these questions because we are going to wrap this up in about 14 minutes. We got a lot of questions coming in fast and furious here. Gregory Rousseau. Yes, you know what? I like Gregory Rousseau. I did a video on him. I think he's JPP part 2. I know we always have the Victor Cruz 2.0s and 3.0s and 4.0s and 5.0s, but I think he can be consistent and I think he can be a good player for this team. But he's just going to need to have to have some built up. His repartee is not there. He's played a lot in the middle of the line. So in some ways he is kind of Leonard Williams-esque. Tim, when it's all in caps, then I got to look at it. Tim, curious, what was your outlook on Eli going into his make or break fourth season? I've always been an Eli fan, and I think Eli had a progression. He had a progression from year 1. He had a progression from year 2. He moved the needle a little bit every year. He stumbled a little going into 2007. But I never lost confidence in Eli. I was never one of those guys that was like, oh, Eli's this, Eli's like, I never lost confidence in him because I understand. You could see the talent that he had. You could see the talent that he displayed. A lot of Eli's issues were Kevin Gilbride, because Kevin Gilbride made Eli the gunslinger. He made him throw deep. That was the philosophy of the Giants. If Eli went to like San Francisco in the 80s and the 90s and ran the West Coast, Eli would have been a totally different quarterback. We saw what happened when McAdoo came in as the offensive coordinator. His philosophy and his style changed, and Eli's had his best seasons ever. Let's see here. Eli had 30 touchdowns, 26 and 12 touchdowns with a better low line. Jocking to him. Yeah, you know what? But again, you're trying, and I know when people say, "Well, you I don't like what you say. You can't compare errors." And I'm not really comparing errors. You can't compare different teams, because of the fact that Eli had more of a target on his back, more of he needs to excel because of the fact of his name, his brother, his father, and the fact that, to me, the pressure is 10 times more on Eli Manning than it has been on Daniel Jones. I like Gregory. I like Miami. Let's see here. Svi, Kyle Pitts. I know you like Kyle Pitts, Svi. And I know you were sending me messages that he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the one thing you sent me is the guy saying that he is the best prospect he has seen in years at tight end. And I love it because I always tell people, Eric Ebron a couple of years ago was going to revolutionize the tight end position. Jeff George, the quarterback, was going to be the best quarterback in the history of the league. And we also saw how those two things worked out. Here we go. Tim, do you think CJ board signing was CJ Board to me is going to be a special teams guy. I don't know why we signed him. I think we could have got him signed in. I think we could have signed him later. I mean, not later, but I think we could have signed someone less expensive for him. Love you too, my brother. What's going on? All right, what's going on here? Yeah, 32-26 is awful. More targets than what's on Jones behind the tail. Yeah, but like I said, you can't make excuses and errors. Eli Manning is gone. That's the thing, and that's what I've been waiting. People didn't appreciate Phil Simms until he left the Giants. That's just what it is. They didn't. And people are starting to slowly appreciate Eli Manning, but there are always going to be people that say, well, Eli Manning did this and did that. You can't compare him anymore. There's no more comparison to Eli Manning and to anything else. Watson, let's see here. Let's see. Watson, Murray, Dak, last couple of years haven't made the playoffs. Yeah, I agree. I agree. You got, and they're also on different teams. Let's see here. I'm trying to get back to all these messages, guys. And like I said, I like to try to get as many messages as I possibly can. I'm just not good at scrolling backwards. People need to stop making excuses for Jones. Franchise quarterback is supposed to. I think you're right. And I think everyone should congratulate Little Nipple because he got an A on his algebra test last week. I think that gives the online Big Blue thumbs up. I don't think a lot of times I don't think people are making excuses. They're just defending Daniel Jones because that's their guy. That's that's their quarterback. And I understand that. Like I said, I defended Eli Manning for years. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. He's your guy. So I can understand that. But I think to the perspective of the fact is that you need to have other opinions. And sometimes I think people don't value the other opinions of other people. I think, and it goes both ways. I think sometimes the Daniel Jones haters don't value the opinion of the people that like Daniel Jones and vice versa. But that's okay. It happens. That's life. Everyone's got a difference of opinion. When are we going to fix this? I don't know, man. I don't know. You talk about Daniel Jones getting weapons. You talk about Daniel Jones as the quarterback. You talk about Daniel Jones is going to be your guy from years to come. You talk about getting Saquon Barkley back healthy. But the problem is, you're right. If you can't keep him upright, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whatsoever. Okay, what is it? Tim, you do tremendous important works on our giant teams, man. I follow you from the Dominican Republic. Hey, from the Dominican Republic. How are you doing over there, my friend? How's the weather? And I appreciate that. I try to do what I can do, and it's good to see. Like I said, it's funny though because I have and again I get to track the statistics from like the podcast and stuff, and the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, places like that. I have a very large following as well. And it's very interesting. But I really do appreciate that. I enjoy. I have never been to the Dominican Republic though. I've been to Puerto Rico a lot. Living in Florida, a lot of my friends were Hispanic, so I mean, so I would go back and forth. It wasn't that far from flying to Orlando, so I would go to Puerto Rico quite a bit. And I also love Spanish food, and I can cook it as well. Tostones, pasteles, mofongo, all my favorites. All right, what do we got here? Tim, I understand you are stopping that this year. Well, Jose G, I appreciate it. I'm not leaving yet. It is good. This is probably going to be, and if anyone that missed it, I'm gonna repeat it again. This is probably going to be my last year doing this. It's been fun. It's been fantastic. I think my subscribers are some of the most accurate and knowledgeable Giant fans. And you guys keep me on my toes and you keep me doing this. And there is a level of enjoyment with it every single day. But, sometimes things run their course. I am going to try to figure out a way to keep the channel alive. And like I said, maybe I can find a subscriber. Maybe, like I said, maybe we're going to do a contest. Maybe I'm going to have a subscriber contest where you guys come on and, you do run a show for a day and we see what happens. Yes, Mr. Lewis, this looks like this is going to be my last year, but that's all right, man, friend. I'm going to keep in touch with you. I'm always DMing you on Twitter. So, oh yes, yes. That is very good. That is very good. I have the I was gonna do rice and beans tonight with some chicken, but and I have tostones in the freezer. So I know they're not. You really shouldn't. You should make them fresh. I understand that, but that would be good. That would be good tonight, honey. I think that's what we're having for dinner. If you're out there, I'm not leaving. I'm still gonna be here. You can still bug me. Thanks for being a content creator that tells your opinion and not going with the Giants would feed us. What makes you better than anything? Oh, I appreciate that, Giants 34. But like I said, I'm not going anywhere right away. You're still going to have me for a year. You're still going to have me through the season. I'm still going to do stuff daily. It's just, you kind of run your things. Like I said, things run their course and but we'll have fun together. We'll have a good time together. It's Online Big Blue 1. And that's on Twitter, Online Big Blue 1. And you can also follow us on our new podcast, which I think I have here we go. I have a new podcast. I'll post it right here. You can also, it's on Podbean. It's All Nonsense Sports with Tim from Online Big Blue. You can also just go to, we have a new website going up. It's onlinebigbblue.com. You can see all of our giant videos together and you can see the podcast together. Let's see here. Hi, post your opinions and yeah, they do hate me. I am hated. That's okay though. That's all right, man. That's all right to be hated. We're gonna grab a couple more here because I have to actually go grocery shopping. Let's see here. Whoops. Let's see here. Charlotte, North Carolina. What's going on, Charlotte, North Carolina? We got relatives over in Raleigh. So Charlotte, man, I've been to the University of North Carolina. I saw some basketball games. You want to know how old I am? I actually saw Michael Jordan play in college his one season. That's how old I am. And I remember that. I was a kid, but I still remember it. Who do you see the Giants drafting with the 11th overall pick? Here's my thing. I am saying I would personally go with the corner. I would go with Surtain. If one of the wide receivers was available, I would still probably go with the corner, depending on what we do in free agency. I like Gregory Rousseau. I like his ability. I might trade back to get him, maybe trade over with New England to get that guy because I think New England's going to take a quarterback. I really do. Ignore the noise. Just, you know what, Johnny T? It's not the noise. It's not the noise that bothers me. What bothers me is the fact that I'm not a person that stays quiet. I can't. I'm a big mouth. I'm a loud mouth. I'm cocky. I'm arrogant. I know this. I know all these things. And yet my wife still loves me. But I know that's what I am. And when you try to suppress that, one day it's all going to blow up. You know what? It won't be pretty. It won't be pretty at all. What do we got here? Where do you think the offensive holes will go in the draft? We're going to have to go free agency because I don't see, we just don't have the cap space. I wish we did. I wish we had that ability to sign everyone that needs to be signed. I really do. But, it's going to have to be, it's just going to have to be. How old am I? Charlotte was the name of the elephant. Smokey and the Bandit 2. It's funny. I just watched Smokey and the Bandit yesterday. I remember seeing Smokey and the Bandit 2 in the movie theater as a kid. So you're just as old as I am. It's the Bandit. I always love that with the CB radios. That always cracked me up. You watch these movies now, and you even watch movies from a couple of years ago, and you're like, you see the cell phones, and you're like, wow, that was the cell phone that we used to use. I just way off topic. Okay, way off topic. What's your favorite cereal? Ooh, Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious. It used to also be good. It used to be, I don't know if they still have it. Cookie Crisp. That used to be a good one as a kid. What sucks is for kids now, you don't get to watch cartoons. That was the highlight, man, of your Saturday. You would run downstairs at like 9 o'clock in the morning, grab your bowl of cereal, and watch cartoons. Trade Ingram to the Jaguars for a 3rd round pick. I would do that. I don't know if the Jaguars would do it, but I would do it. Because any team that trades for Evan Ingram, unless you're going to take him in as a rental, is going to they're going to have to pay him. So, I mean, that they would have to be in that perspective. Oh, here's a good question. I'm trying to wrap this up because it's already noon. What is your prediction of the 3 Giant free okay. Let's see. I think they're going to bring back Sam Huff. They're going to, oh no, they're not free agents. Oh my God. You know what? I even said this last year, a couple weeks or a week before legal tampering, I had gotten information that Giants were going to make a big push for James Bradbury and Blake Martinez. I worked the same sources the last couple days. Nothing. I mean, people are saying there's nothing. Right now, the Leonard Williams contract is the anchor around everyone. So, I mean, it's, it is what it is, but that contract is the anchor right now. So I really don't even have a prediction. I did players I think they should sign, but I don't see that. You got the best show, best subscribers. Actually, you know what? And Vinny G, yes, thank you for bringing that up. I do have the best, and I've said it millions of times, guys, you guys are awesome. I mean, especially the ones that hang out in the stream and everyone that leave me comments. You guys are freaking awesome, man. Some of the comments, I will say one thing. If you're going to curse in a comment, I'm not pulling those comments out. YouTube automatically does it. So if you're going to curse, I would go like SH blank T or something like that, or blank CK, something like that. Because then your comments don't get flagged. Because sometimes I have to go through the spam comments to find those comments just to respond to them. We don't have the money. Yes. Oh, Trey Lance. I want to talk about Trey Lance. I want to wrap it up with Trey Lance because I didn't get to what I wanted to address also with an email. I got a great email from Mike Lee, but I think I'll address that in a video. Let me see something here. Alex Sports. What's going on, my friend? Malcolm Butler. Yeah, you know what? The whole Joe Judge connection again and everything else. I'm gonna say no. There's just something about that guy. I would take, you know what's sad? I would take Trey Lance. If he fell down to the Giants at 11, I would actually take him. I know logistically the smart thing would be to do is trade back to get assets, but I don't know, man. I think he could have used another year in college, but there's just something about him. So, all right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up because it is noon. I only like to go an hour.
That phrase, trademark, not to use it as a tradition, Ricky Bobby.
I was going to do my intro right there, but like I said, and I hit the wrong button because I was saying I only like to go an hour.
That's what she said.
Hello. Sorry, man. I have too many funs with these buttons are awesome. These buttons are just so much fun to play with. But I appreciate everyone. I hope everyone has a fantastic Sunday. I think this was one of our best streams in a long time, even though I think it has to do more with Dom than anything else because Dom was a fantastic guest. What I'm going to try to do is, and I'm going to type my email out here. I'm going to type my work email because it's my online Big Blue work email. Look, I can type and no, I can't type. I can type and chew gum at the same time. If you want to come on the show, you want to come on a live stream, you want to have a little banter and maybe give me a reason why you should take over for Tim at Online Big Blue, email me. Just give me some information. Email me what you think you would want to talk about. And maybe what we'll do is once a month or so, we might do and I think about doing this. We might do 15 intervals. We'll do it a live stream and we'll do the battle of the subscribers. We'll have 2 subscribers battling out on the channel. Each will have an answer to give an answer. We'll do it for like 10 minutes. And then maybe at the end of the day, we'll figure out who can maybe guest host for Online Big Blue. But like I said, guys, I appreciate it. Hope everyone has a fantastic weekend or the remainder of it. We're going to close it out. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue. We'll bring you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could if you subscribe, if you can ring that bell, I think you know what that means. That would be awesome.